Hi, my name is Randy Herron. I'm the Senior Vice President of Construction Technologies, VDC, and Manufacturing for TD Industries. I am so excited and honored to be talking with you all today about how to leverage design thinking to execute your digital strategy. Just a little bit about my background. I've been in the construction industry for 25 years. Previous to the construction technology and manufacturing responsibilities that I hold, I was over our new construction group in the Houston market. So I have a lot of deep empathy with the construction side, the actual operations side of the construction industry, that really helps me in my new role over construction technologies and manufacturing. What I'm really passionate about is leveraging model-led technology driven workflows to maximize prefabrication for the built environment. I've been, like I said, on the construction operations side for a long time, and I see the efficiency gain in modularization, volumetric prefabrication, and I know that the next 20 years of construction won't be anything like the previous 20 years of construction. So really, how do we leverage technology, leverage the model to really drive prefabrication within our business? That's what I'm really passionate about. And so in my pursuit of that, to really that technology-driven workflows, I really do leverage design thinking as I review and pick different platforms for the company to really drive that technology. What I think that we need to understand really is the human need for it, and that's what I use design thinking for. And so some of the objectives that I want to make sure that at the end of this presentation, the audience comes across with some understanding of what design thinking is. Really, why is design thinking needed? Because change is so hard, and it's hard to scale new technologies within an organization. And then I also want everybody to learn and understand the different design thinking tools that are out there that can help make the technology decisions that serve your internal customers' needs easier. Once you understand really more about what design thinking is, you can make better decisions for your internal customers. And so just as an introduction to what design thinking is, design thinking, just from a strictly definition point of view, is an iterative process in which we seek to understand the user, challenge assumptions, and redefine problems in an attempt to identify alternative strategies and solutions that might not be instantly apparent with our initial level of understanding. So what that means to me is that we really need to understand the human, the core center of the human, what somebody struggles with on a daily basis, what helps someone, really understand the need of the person first, so then you can select the correct tool that can help them the best. Design thinking encourages organizations to focus on the people they're creating for, which is so important, and it leads to better products, services, and internal processes. And when solving for a solution for our business need, the first question should always be, what is the human need behind it? And I spoke to it a little bit earlier, but design thinking is so critical that you put the human need first, and the understanding of who you're creating for is so important, is because change is really hard within an organization. Just as a statistic, proof is needed for 84% of the people within an organization to try something new. They have to have proof that it actually works. So that's a pretty hard statistic to overcome. If you have a new technology or a new platform that you want to roll out within your organization, it's not going to roll out and just widely be adopted without a lot of work and an understanding of the psychology of the people that you're creating for. What helps me understand this the most is what's called the law of diffusion of innovation. It's been around since about the 50s, I believe. It's an outstanding view about how people process change. Just looking at the curve, the law of diffusion of innovation on this slide, there's 5 different types or groups of people within the general population of any organization. And about 2.5% are the innovators. They are out there, they're thinking big, they're thinking about the future. They want to be the first one to try a new technology. They don't need any proof that it works. The fact that it's just there and that nobody else has tried it yet is inspiration enough for them to change. Right behind the innovators is the early adopters. They don't change, they don't snap to change as quick as the innovators do, but they're pretty fast at it. Their population makes up about 13.5% of your general organization. These two groups combined, the innovators and the early adopters, are roughly 16% of your population within your organization. That's a pretty small percentage. And what drives the innovators and the early adopters to change, to gravitate, and to accept change is scarcity. They want to be the first to do it. They want to be the pioneers that lead the way. And it's really important to know within your organization who those innovators and early adopters are, because those are the people that are needed to be on board to actually tip a technology or an idea or a change within your organization. This orange arrow on this slide represents what's called the tipping point. One of the things that I use when I'm evaluating new products and services is this particular workflow. There's actually 2 slides on it. This first one is 3 different pieces of that workflow. The first being hypothesis. What is the idea? What problem am I trying to solve that I need a technology solution for? So having that hypothesis that I am going to solve for X is the most important first step, knowing what you need to start. The second part of this journey is what's called customer discovery. Customer discovery is such an important part because when you're thinking about design thinking, understanding the human need for the change, you've got to understand the human. And so customer discovery is a way to dig deep and understand the daily pains that your internal customers experience and what kind of offsetting gains would help them in their life. The next step in this journey is the value proposition canvas. This is a strategizer tool. There's several books. They're referenced at the end of this presentation for links if you're interested in learning more about these tools. I've given you some information at the end. But the value proposition canvas, to me, is the best tool to aggregate your customer discovery into something that gives you a workable solution. So really, to increase your chances of success, follow a standard methodology to evaluate potential solutions. And this is really important because if you follow the same standard methodology every time you evaluate a new product or service for your company, you'll be able to adequately evaluate them and compare them the same way every time. Gives you more consistent results. Really important to have this kind of workflow established. On the second part of that journey that we talked about was the customer discovery. I want to dig into that a little bit deeper and give you some more information. The MOM test is a tremendous resource for this. Rob Fitzpatrick wrote the book. He has a great website that has some videos that really help drive the point home as well. But that customer discovery is so important. People say that, and the reason why it's called the MOM test is because people say that you shouldn't ask your mom whether your product or service or idea is good because she loves you and she will always lie to you. It's the same thing in business. If you have an idea for a product or a service or a technology within your group, you can't just go up to your teammates and say, hey, I've got this idea. Do you think it's a good one? Because inherently we're all polite and someone will agree and tell you that it's a great idea and it'll give you a false positive and send you down the wrong path. So instead of asking people around, the people that you're creating these solutions for, if they like your idea, what you should ask instead is how it would serve them in their day-to-day life. instead of saying, is this a great idea, say, talk me through the last time that happened. What have you tried? Have you been dealing with this problem? And really, when you're talking to your internal customers, you're trying to gain empathy in their life and what they struggle with on a day-to-day basis. Have they created a workaround solution for something? That's really important. If they've created a workaround solution for something, then you know that there's been a pain so great that they're willing to invest their time to solve it. So really digging deep, understanding how your customers interact during the day, when they get to work, what are they dealing with? When they leave, what are they dealing with? What are the things that they struggle with the most? That will give you a really good picture of what your internal customer, that the type of person your internal customer is. And if you talk to enough people on your team, you can start seeing some similarities and understanding what the biggest issues within your organization are. And then how can you pick a product or a service or design a product or a service that will solve those problems for the people within your organization. Customer discovery, I think, is so critical. Even if you don't necessarily have a product or a service that you're evaluating, just sometimes to check the temperature within your organization. Go talk to people. Ask them how they're doing. What do they struggle with? What within the organization helps them do their job? Never do this in the form of an electronic survey that you send out via email. It'll never go anywhere. Nobody will respond to it. And it's really important to have that interaction and speak to the people that work within your organization. They have a lot to say, and they can really put you on the right track instead of having you waste your time and efforts and money on a solution that doesn't really work for your organization. Whenever we do customer discovery within our groups, we always end with 2 questions. These are also referenced in the Mom Test book, but who else should I talk to? And is there anything else I should have asked? You'll be really, really surprised by especially that last question. What else should I have asked? That'll help you uncover your blind spots that you didn't even know existed. And I can't speak enough about how important customer discovery is as you're really setting your digital strategy, is understanding what the pains are that your teammates are experiencing, their workarounds and gains they've created. It's a huge shortcut for you in evaluating products and services that you're designing for your team, because you can really make sure that you're at the heart of the problems and the solutions. One of the things that I referenced earlier in that journey workflow that we saw was a value proposition canvas. I've got a slide here of the value prop canvas. It was created, it's part of the Strategizer series. A reference is given at the end of the slide to where you can find this as well. But what we do with our customer discovery, once we have the feedback, we work with what's called a value proposition canvas, which is this. On the right side of the canvas is what is the job that your customer does. And by customer, someone that works within your organization, or for me, works within TD. So it could be our foreman or our superintendent. It could be our IT people. It could be our purchasing people or manufacturing. All of those are different jobs. So the group of people that you're talking to, what job do they do? And through all of the customer discovery that you've collected, as you've written your notes, to assemble on the right side of the value prop canvas, what are the gains that people have recognized and what are the pains that they've told you that they go through? So once you have all of this data filled out on the right side, you can travel over to the left side of the value prop canvas and work with the pain relievers and the gain creators. When I work with this product in particular, I usually plot it out on some pretty large paper from one of our plotters, and I utilize the Post-it notes. So the customer job is Post-it note, all of the gains that I assembled through the customer discovery. Each gain, I put one idea on a Post-it note and I stick it in the value proposition canvas. The same thing for the pains. One idea, on each post-it. The left side of the value proposition canvas, I look at the pains and say, what could relieve that pain? What is a pain reliever? So one idea per post-it. I accumulate those ideas in the pain relievers section, and the same for the gain creators. How can I create gains based on the information that I know of the daily lives of our internal customers, our foremen, our superintendents, our project managers? What are the gains that could make their life easier? What are those gain creators? So I assemble all of the ideas there. And this number 5 over here on this slide, products and services, that is where once you've sorted through all of your gain creators and pain relievers, that's where you put the product or service that could really relieve their pains and create gains for them. It's a really good brainstorming tool to take your customer discovery and really make something out of it and be able to use that to make decisions in the future. And ultimately got the post-its that were on the gain creators and the pain relievers. So what we're doing basically is a chart, a choosing by advantage chart, where on the left-hand side of the chart we've assembled the gain creators and pain relievers. These are items that were directly from our internal customers in relation to tool management. So what we were able to do is say, this is important in the tool platform that we're going to select. These are the most important criteria. These are the gain creators for our organization, and these are the pains that would be relieved for our organization just from the customer discovery. Then what we did was we interviewed 3 different tool manufacturers that had mobile platforms. So we have a column for manufacturer 1, manufacturer 2, and manufacturer 3. The last column, it's really hard to see, I apologize, it's kind of small, but we ranked the importance of the gain creators and the pain relievers, because even though everything is valid, it might not be as important. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most important, and I think on this chart we got down to a number 2. So if it comes down to a decision making between one product or the other, we really need to look at the importance level of the gain creators and pain relievers too. So once we had our gain creators and our pain relievers established, the level of importance to the item, we ranked the 3 different tool platforms that were out there to see which one of those platforms hit our needs the most, which one created the most gains and relieved the most pains. So we actually went with manufacturer 3. It has the least amount of X's on the matrix. But because we established this, we couldn't be biased in any way to one salesperson from one tool manufacturer that could maybe sell us on some features that really didn't matter to our organization. So what we were able to do through customer discovery and the value prop conversation, really understanding the design thinking, the organization, the human need for this platform, we were able to make a better decision than we would have been able to make before. And remembering that change is hard. The 84% of the population within your company that don't like change, they're going to have a really hard time moving change through the organization that doesn't work. If you spend the extra time up front really finding out what people need, making sure that product or service fits within that, you have a much higher success rate for the products and services you're developing or purchasing for your organization from a technology standpoint of view. Real quick, because I know I'm probably going pretty long, I wanted to just talk really quickly about the second part of the journey, is the test, refine, pre-launch, and launch. Once you have an idea, like for example, the tool platform that we've decided on based on our data from customer discovery, you need to still test it. Don't scale it to the whole organization yet. Test it within one group. We picked one geography to test the tool platform in. It was Houston. We got feedback from that. It was successful enough to where we launched it company-wide. But I would be very, very careful that even though you've used all of the data and made the best decision that you could make, the testing part is so important. You test, you iterate, and test again. And once you have enough proof that the product or service is working like it's supposed to, then you can launch. What I have here with the pre-launch on this journey, that's where you can think about your change management, your law of diffusion of innovation. How can you get your mavens, your connectors, and your salespeople engaged? How can you understand who your innovators and your early adopters are within your organization so that you can get them really excited about this great new change that you've tested, you've proved out, and you know can be successful if it can scale to the organization and scale quickly. So that's why it's so important to understand the human-centered need for change, understand the psychology of people and why change is hard, and then really understand that talking to your internal customers is the most important thing that you can do before you pick or design a product or a service for them to make sure that it really hits the gain creators and pain relievers for them. All of those decisions and conversations and this thought process really helps you increase the percentage of success on your new initiatives. It's worked really well for us over time, and really the kind of like the call to action that I have is to embrace design thinking for your technology solutions. Go on that journey through customer discovery, through testing, through iterating and launching, and put some more thought into understanding the human-centric need for that change to make sure that you're making the best decisions for your company, because these are big bets. There's a lot of money you're investing, a lot is on the line, and I know what's worked for me in the past is to really lean hard into design thinking to make sure that we have the best chance of success for the solution that we've created. So the last slide, just that I'll leave you with, there's some links to the value proposition strategizer tools, to the MOM test, and just a little bit from the Lean Construction Institute on choosing by advantage. Hope that y'all have found this presentation helpful to you. Whenever I come to things like this, I want to find some tools that I can take back and instantly start using, and I really hope that some of these tools are things that you can start using within your organization. So I really appreciate the time that I've been able to spend with you all, and I look forward to questions. Thank you.